Well, welcome everybody back to the garden at Gardeners Cottage, and we're just going to show you this before we do any work on it, because it's been 2 weeks now, quite unusually, with lockdown still going on in the UK. We've had no guests staying, and the garden's really reverted to a wildlife haven. So we've got a daisy lawn, we've got birds nesting in all the trees, we've also got this beautiful Clematis montana alba. We cut this out of the little plum tree that comes across the wall at the top last year, and what's happened is all the flower has concentrated itself on this lower growth, which is looking beautiful, really lush as well. A lot of the montanas this year, the flowers have been quite mean and small, but this one, despite this dry sandy soil, is doing very nicely. This little border in front of the house again, it's coming on now. Spring bulbs completely overgrown. We've got some hollyhock coming up in the foreground, the blue wild borage which seeds itself everywhere in this garden, and some oxeye daisy coming through. There's some wild aquilegia that's self-seeded again in pots of plants. The big rosemary that grows against the back of the house here is finished flowering now. We're going to have to cut that back today because it's starting to narrow the passageway through into the patio area. The rose flowering in the base of the fig tree. This one is golden showers, flowers at the same time as marigold, but the big difference is this is almost entirely thornless, which is great if you're growing it close to a passageway. Okay, we've got this beautiful flower growing along the base. Hollyhocks here, we're only in May, but it's not going to be long before we get some flowers on those. Look at the buds coming through, full spikes up to about 3.5 feet. Got the first roses background here starting to come up, and one here in full bud. And we've also got pots which have overwintered outside in North Norfolk over the last winter season. Now look, in flower in May, despite the air frost that we've had over the last couple of days in the land. Ceanothus, a little ground hugging ceanothus, and then this choicea, which is just filling the air with the most delicious honey fragrance, just going over there at the moment. Fresh young green, lime green, yellowy leaves coming back out on that patio area, looking very peaceful. Haven't put the umbrellas out yet because no guests, there's no point really. This little area here needing a bit of work doing. It's usually full of cyclamen in autumn, but we've had the spring bulbs which we're just letting go back underground now. Primulas done their thing, and now it's just again a mass of cow parsley and the wild borage. We'll tidy that up and get the grass back to a little border. Roses starting to bud up, growing in this hedge. Not showing any colour yet, but this is, I think this is a rambling rector actually. It's really budding up and running nicely along the top there. From the far end of the garden, looking back towards the house now, you can hardly see the house. Everything's so lush and green. We'll show you this again in a couple of minutes when we've tidied the lawn up. It's almost a shame to cut these daisies out, but it does need tidying up. We've had some rain here over the last couple of weeks. Just the last of combination of campion and honesty. You can see the seeds heads starting to form on the honesty, which we'll leave here until they're dry, and then we'll scatter them around. Beautiful lilac there, looking back towards the house, looking very lush and green, with beautiful birdsong in middle of May. Well, we said we'd give you a little view after it's been cut. So here we are. Hello, Lara. And here we are looking back at the house from under the trees in front of the bank at the end of the garden. Yes, hello girl. Thank you very much. We've actually got 3 little helpers with us today. Aren't we? Hey? Yeah. Good girl. She's been quite good for once. Chasing flies. Keep her hours and hours of entertainment.
Be aesthetic about it, you're right. And I was thinking that you. Maybe you could go take the tea bags out.